banks. And of course, in repo systems, in repo transactions, you have a list of collaterals that you as a central bank can accept. And of course, in this very system, you have, for instance, various levels of haircuts. You have various levels of haircuts, and definitely, securities with relatively lower haircuts are relatively more attractive. Yes, relatively more attractive. But in general, I think that the level of haircuts we have right now in Poland is unreasonably, high. So we, as a central bank, we can consider well a general cutting of haircuts in repo transaction. I know that many of you would immediately, somehow link this statement to this coronavirus, yes, and the way, central bank in Poland can help, commercial banks maybe, in financing, or in giving liquidity to affect firms and companies. Well, we can also discuss it, but I would like to focus solely on the issue of climate change and transition. So I think that we may think about a kind of green collaterals in repo transactions, and for sure we can think as a central bank in diminishing the haircuts for green collaterals. This is rather technical, I think, but on the other hand, I think that this is the right place to discuss maybe more technical things. So to conclude, and this is widely discussed, in the literature, how central banks with repo systems can contribute, to financing transition, etc. So to conclude, within our mandate, which I think is appropriate and should not be changed, NBP has a limited capacity in assisting, the government in providing money. So I'm very so sorry. We are not to print, billions of zloty to give the government, to finance the transition. However, I think that in a dialogue with the government, maybe we can find some, places where we can act together. So definitely NBP has a limited capacity in assisting the government. So I think that definitely fiscal policy should take the lead in this area, and also what I think is definitely, and this is the opinion of the European Commission from European Commission's document on Green Deal, but we can, or we should think how to change our fiscal rules in order to take into account the issue of green investments. I think that last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a very interesting debate in Brussels organized by the European Fiscal Board with such speakers like Oliver Blanchard, how to maybe even exclude spendings on climate from existing fiscal rules, but it's not my area, of policy making. But I think that the debate should continue how to change fiscal rules. But no doubts about the need to include climate-related risk into MPC reaction function. This is for sure, and into research agenda of NBP's analytical departments. The problem is that, for instance, while we are doing, or our department are doing, macroeconomic forecasts, they are using DSG models, for instance. I think that they should more use, agent-based modeling in order somehow to be able to introduce climate-related risks into their macroeconomic forecasts. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Łukasz. And now for Marek Litu, the CEO of the Warsaw Stock Exchange and also assistant professor at the Warsaw School of Economics. For a comment to all the speeches, you can choose what do you want to comment.
Just more than one.
Yeah, you can.
It does or it doesn't? I didn't check it, so.
You cannot speak too loudly, but hopefully you will hear me. So, first of all, thank you for having me here today. I was asked to not to prepare a special speech, but just to comment on the previous speeches. On the one hand, it's a very easy task because you don't have to prepare much. On the other hand, you have to think fast in Kahneman terms. And I'm not very good in fast thinking, but I will do my best to comment on what I've learned today. So my first remark goes back to the speech of Minister Czeswortyński about the role or this, investments, if they can be covered somehow by also private sector. And this, luckily it was left on the table what Marcin Roszkowski presented. There's a huge amount of money for Poland to comply with the CO2 emission and all other emissions, because as Marcin already disclosed to you, I'm mathematics, I'm quite curious about all other emissions as well. So basically, it's a huge investment gap, and we see it quite clearly on the Warsaw Stock Exchange, where the energy companies are a major contributor to our indexes, or to our blue chip index, and actually we have like some tech companies going up 85%, but when the all utilities companies go down like 60% a year, we can compensate that. So basically we see that there is a I mean, private sector perceive that as a risk factor for our energy companies. And on top of that, there is a clear trend in the whole world. It's not only European Union, but whole global investors community assigned year 2020 for ESG projects, and some major investors are now checking which companies comply with ESG. ESG is Environment, Sustainability, Governance reporting, and starting from the next year it will be ESG full integration, so they will not be investing in the companies which do not comply with ESG reporting and do not do what is called ESG best efforts, so then improving in their ESG. And obviously this component E is a special challenge. This challenge for Poland is actually a great opportunity for Europe. I fully agree with you, Mr. Jarvis, that we have to rethink our fiscal policy. And why I think this gap mentioned by Roszkowski is a chance for Europe. More or less would agree that European needs some economic stimulation, and actually in Poland we have quite decent IT companies, but we don't have many tech companies in the field of green energy. More, this market is very thin in Poland. So actually, these huge investments are a great opportunity for whole Europe, because if there is a substantial, if there's a way to fund this investment, we will be for sure employing the technologies from all around the world, and most prominently from European Union. I share your view, Łukasz, that most probably quantitative easing, well, it's not green quantitative easing is not necessary, and also we need at the end of the day we would rather need Polish zlotys to finance than the euros. And previous quantitative easing actually did some good for sure. It was by all means delayed, but contributed to some wake up of the European economy, but also created massive private equity industry which was metabolizing this printed euros. So I'm not that keen on stating that green quantitative is a solution, because it can be metabolized against our expectation. But in the fiscal policy, I'm quite convinced that Europe should do the effort, and I do not quite understand why the European Union is so hesitant to support green transformation on a really large scale. Of course, one reason could be the limited budget of the European Union, could be, but actually it recalls me the case of, I think it was Ecuador, which was contemplating to exploit crude oil in a national park, and they just asked the global community, I think it was back 2008, for just half of the oil revenues from these deposits in exchange for not exploiting this oil reserve in this national park with a great natural diversity and so on. And actually, the global community did not help them, and finally Chinese started to exploit them. So I think